I, a male of 27 years, am leaving my girlfriend, a female of 25 years, because she has been trying to have an affair. This is hard. We have been together for nearly 8 years. We built a life together. There is so much to this, but basically, I did that thing that everyone in a relationship should be wary of. I looked through her phone, and I found messages upon messages from a mutual friend who lives out of state now that were concerning. Initially, I was going to leave right then and there, but I wanted to try to talk to her, so I gave her almost 3 chances to own up to it. The first time I was really vague and just asked if there was someone else. She flat out denied. I thought I was prepared for her to deny, but turns out I was not. Then the other times I got more and more pointed. Finally, she admitted that the guy had messaged her and flirted with her, but we knew he was that way, and while she did not tell him to go away, she was not into it. Now, I did not see any messages from her at the beginning that showed she was exactly complicit in it. So while I did not believe her, I tried to give her a chance. I know it is stupid, but we have been together for so long and we built a life together. But then I dug again, and there it was, all of it. And worst, she took the time to insult me to him. That hurts. So much that hurts. I know my faults and I know what I could have worked on in this relationship, but I really tried. Every day I tried. But for her to tell someone else things about me like that, I cannot help but feel broken. So right now, I am waiting for her to wake up and leave for work. Then I am packing what I can and heading to a friend's place, and I do not know. I spent 8 years on this relationship, and I am going to walk away from it. I wrote a note out on my phone that I am going to write up for her after she leaves. It says everything I can think to say. I mulled over what to say nonstop. Somewhat satisfyingly, I am going to tell her how she did this. To know that and remember that. And that if at any point she thinks we can reconcile that she ruined this and hurt me so much. I am scared. I am lost, and so much so, I do not want to have to do this. But I have to, and I know ultimately it is going to get better. Edit 1. She is up now and getting ready for work. She tried to kiss me and apologized about tossing and turning all night, and she knew it kept me up. I seem to be getting a lot of pushback on the letter. When she leaves, I am going to pack and I will mull it over again. But I will say this. If I decide to write and it ends up being a mistake, then so be it. It felt nice to at least draft it out on my phone. Made things more real so I can convince myself more that I have to leave. Edit 2, 8:30 in the morning. She just left for work. I am going to shower and truthfully let out a nice cry. Then pack my stuff. Lots of people are saying to straight ghost her, and lots are saying a short and to the point note instead of letter. I am going to contemplate that in the shower. She kept saying I love you, and I was reluctant to say it back. She said it 3 times, and I kind of grumbled it out once. I am certain once she reaches work, she will text me about that. I am not going to respond to her while she is at work. She will not be home till probably 8 tonight. Edit 3, 8:54. I am packing up now. Cats seem to know something is up because they will not leave me alone. Honestly breaks my heart. I have been mulling the letter over. I reread it a few times. And I have decided on a short note, just laying out that I know when I am leaving. Essentially something like, I left. I know about you and him. Insert what I read and saw. I am so utterly disappointed in you. I will not be answering my phone, and I wish for you not to contact me. At some point, we will get together to discuss logistics. Also, I am reading everyone's comments. If I did not reply, I am sorry. To the people that have commented about going through something similar, I am so sorry you are going through this as well. I do not know what you will be able to glean from my situation, but I hope something here in all of this helps you all as well. Edit 4, 9:25 in the morning. I am pretty much packed with what I can get out right now. Obviously, there is a lot more. I am writing the note and then leaving. I will need to find food after I drop off what I have. This may be the last update since she will not be off till later tonight, but I will respond to you all when I can. Gives me something to do. Edit 5:10:42 in the morning. I am at my friend's place. She is giving me the lay of the land. People have been talking about taking the cat. Currently, that is not an option. Friend has 3 and a dog. My cats are spoiled and hate anyone that is not her and I. I am not worried she would do anything to them. If anything, she is going to want them around if she does get upset. Not that she deserves that, but it is what it is. Thank you everyone for the kind words and the advice. I will respond to some of you again here soon. Someone asked me about my work. I work in equine care. It is actually really cool. I love my job and I love being there. So once I start going back in a few days, it will be a really good distraction. In a bit, I am going to get food and maybe walk around downtown and goof off. Also, my friend reminded me she is going out of town next week for a week. So I will have the place to myself. I do not know if that is a good thing or a bad thing. But hey, she will have someone to watch her animals while she is gone. So there's that. I know I have a lot of figuring out to do, but I literally just left. Oh, and someone else mentioned, they hope I find things to do to make myself happy. I had plans before all of this to go to the usual brewery with some friends tomorrow. Initially, I was going to call some of them and tell what is going on and I need space, but thinking about it more, it actually sounds like the perfect distraction. Edit 6, 1:45. Got food, banh mi and a Mai Tai if anyone was curious, and talked to a couple of friends. So I'm sorry I have not been replying. It is going to take a while to go through all the messages and comments, but what I have seen so far, I want to say for the umpteenth time, thank you all. Edit 7, 2:15. Okay, this is my last update. Apparently I used a word that alt-right folks like to use, but it was used to describe me, so whatever. I am still trying to go through all the comments, but I saw some people had questions I will do my best to address. The friend is well a friend. I do not know what else to say on that. There is nothing there. A guy and a girl can be friends, and that is it. If this is weird for you guys, then I am sorry. I mean, I do not know if this is going to be a straight move in. I am still figuring things out. Some people have said I am no better than her, and 8 years in not being married was already a bad sign and so on. Well, I guess so. Like, clearly this relationship is not working out. Look what it led to. If that is my fault or her fault or our fault, or whatever it is the situation I am in. And on the note of what it led to, a lot of people asked me what exactly was said or done. I realized I kept it vague and I supposed it was because I felt weird typing it out. But I do not mind telling you guys what I can. As far as I know, she has not actually cheated, that is, had sex with him. They messaged flirtatious things, calling each other hot, sexy, and so on, and there are some pictures but no nudes. But the recent thing I found, and I will touch on the going through the phone thing next, it was messages about wanting to have sex with each other. Straight up, that they missed a chance because of me. But, and this for me is the kicker, he apparently wants to make a cuckold of me. And she seemed into it. They wanted to have sex and have me know they did. Which is why I do not think they have yet. On the going through the phone thing, I know it was dumb. I know what I did. I do not advocate. But it is how I found about all of this. I just had suspicions that something was going on with someone. So it did that for me. Would I tell the next person to go through their partner's phone? I do not know. Probably not. I would tell them if they find something it will hurt, because this hurts. And if they do not, then they breach the trust and privacy of their significant other for nothing. And that in it of itself is a weird situation. I never thought I would be the one posting here for advice, but I am truly at a loss and I do not know what to do. Throw away for privacy, even though I probably put too many details in here, as is. I apologize for how long this is. There are actually more details I am leaving out, but felt it was getting too long. My husband, a male of 33 years, and I, a female of 32 years, have been together for over a decade, grew up in the same town together, and have lived in another state together for about 8 years. There have been plenty of great times. He is truly my best friend, but we have had some hard times too. We have been through it all since we got together in college. Long-distance relationships, cross-country moves, family drama, death, job changes, and so on, and have always come out the other side stronger. Until now. This all started about a year ago when my husband's coworker, Laura, A female in her mid-20s came on to him at a bar where I was not present, but I had been there earlier in the night. She knows he is married. He was pretty drunk and told her off. I made it clear to him I did not like this girl and that I did not want him drinking around her anymore. I can give more details on her if needed, but I have had a bad feeling about her since the moment I met her. He told me not to worry about it, that she is fat. I have always trusted him. We share locations, have each other's passcodes and passwords, talk multiple times per day, and so on, so I tried to brush it off as best I could. In our 12 years together, I have never had any reason to worry about that type of thing. Fast forward to last summer when we went on a trip, and late at night on a weekend, I see a text from Laura on his work phone. There is no work-related reason for them to be talking during this time. So red flags went off immediately? I looked through the messages and there was nothing incriminating, just back and forth conversation, but I still confronted him about it. I took screenshots of everything and sent them to his sister. I asked him why he was talking to her knowing that I was not comfortable with it. We had a long talk about it and he assured me it would not happen again. The next week he came home from work and told me that he had a conversation with her where he told her they could no longer talk if it was not work-related, since I am getting the wrong impression of their relationship. Everything was fine until Christmas when we went to visit family. After Christmas Eve with his family, we went back to the hotel and were getting ready for bed, when again his work phone goes off with a text from Laura. We had both been drinking, so I grabbed his phone and looked through all the messages. Again, nothing super incriminating, but he had assured me before that they would only talk if it was work-related, and there is no reason for them to be texting at 1 in the morning after Christmas Eve. I admittedly was furious. I sent a text back to Laura basically telling her to go away, blocked her number, and threw his phone in the toilet. He was too drunk to really comprehend what was going on and did not say much. Just a lot of, "What is your problem? Nothing has happened," and things like that. I did not sleep a wink that night and actually packed all of my stuff to catch a flight home. I did not end up going, and instead, we had a long talk again, and he assured me it would never happen again, and that he loves me and that I am his soulmate. He changed his work phone passcode after this, which I understand. The Christmas fight took a lot of willpower to get over on my part, and right when I finally felt like I was making some progress in forgiving him, things went downhill once more. We found out recently that his company had an opportunity to move us to another city in our state, about 3 hours from where we live. The catch was that the move had to happen as soon as possible, but since we do not have kids and I work remotely, we decided to take the leap. It was a bit of a mad dash to find a place to live, but a realtor helped us find a place. We signed a lease and moved. I found out after that the realtor was referred to us by Laura, which I was not worried about considering she works in a department that helps facilitate these types of things for their employees. In the middle of our move, my husband tells me that he has to go on a work trip to help recruit college kids from a competition that he used to participate in. He was planning to attend with guys that he actually works with now and was on a competition team with in college, which I did not love given the timing, but I understood. Come to find out, one of the guys dropped out and now Laura is attending in his place. He was upfront about this to me and I made it very clear I was not okay with this. Again, he reassured me that everything would be fine and he would check in with me as much as possible. The week before the trip, my husband had a going away party for work at a local brewery, which he originally told me about and asked if I wanted to come. However, now that the party was approaching, he never mentioned it to me again, nor told me about any details. I felt as though he was purposefully keeping me away from it once he knew that Laura would be attending. While he was there, I was texting him and got no response. I could see his location and saw that he was still there, so I figured he must just be having conversations with his coworkers. It was getting late and I knew this place closed at 9. His location was still showing there for about 20 minutes after closing, and then it was gone. I called him, no answer. Texted, no answer. No location for over an hour. We live in a high cell service area, so I know he did not lose service and my texts were being delivered. I checked his Apple Watch and checked the location of his phone through it. It was in front of Laura's apartment. I texted him that something felt very wrong and that I needed him to come home. He called me back and acts like nothing is wrong. I could tell that he was drunk and covering up a lie. He was giving way too many details that I never asked for about where he has been, what happened at the end of the night, how one of his coworkers got too drunk so he had to drive him home. So I asked him why he was just near an apartment that Laura lives in. He denied it and told me he had no idea what I was talking about, that I was making things up and being worried for no reason, that he does not even know how to turn off his location. He is not stupid, but he is playing dumb. Just textbook gaslighting. He got home and it was more of the same, but the conversation continued and we made up. I asked him why he keeps talking to her, and why he keeps doing this even though he knows it hurts me. He just said he did not know. He finally admitted that he had to drive a coworker home, and since she lived on the way, he dropped her off as well. He claims he did not tell me because he thought I would be angry. My instinct tells me there is more to it than that, but I have no proof. The following week was the work trip, and I again made it known I was not okay with him going, especially after what had just occurred. In the end, it felt like I had no choice, and he went anyway because he claimed it was too late to cancel. The whole time he was there, he texted me nonstop, FaceTimed me, and so on, and as much as I was not happy, I accepted it. When he got back, we completed our move, and everything has been great. I think part of me is just happy to be away from where Laura lives. This is where things have derailed considerably, except he does not know that I know this yet. This past weekend, we made a trip back to our old house 3 hours away to see some friends and drove separately since we left on different days. Yesterday, the end of the trip, he was finishing some things up around the house, and I wanted to drive back before it got dark. So I left around 2:30 and told him to let me know when he was on his way too. Here is the timeline of events. At 4:45, he texted me a picture of the project he was working on, so I figured he would be on his way shortly. At 5, he texted me something about the photo. At 5:30, I replied to his text when I got home, and it says, "Not delivered." I checked to see if he had left yet, but his location was not loading. It just had a ping at 502, relatively near where he had to get on the highway. 13-minute drive from our house. The ping was showing on top of a hotel right off the highway, but since it is right near the on-ramp, I did not think anything of it and assumed he was just in a spotty service area on his drive. At 5:50, I called him and his phone goes straight to voicemail. At 6:05, I called his work phone and it rings, but no answer. Odd since he has it connected to his truck. At 6:20, he called me back and it sounded like he was getting into his truck. He said he was at a gas station off the highway that is about 25 minutes from the house. This matches his location, which is now back. He briefly says he left around 5:30 from the house, which the math does not add up. Says his personal phone died and he plugged it into his car. At 8:30ish, he walks in the door. I know he was at the house at 4:45. Maybe his phone did die a little after 5, and then he packed up and left the house a little before 6, plugged his phone in, and made it to the gas station 25 minutes away by 6:20. But what does not sit right is the ping off the highway at 5:02. If his phone died at home, why would it ping a location 13 minutes away? I suppose it is possible the ping is inaccurate. I do not know enough about it. Normally I could rationalize this all, but something was not sitting right. So I checked our phone bill this morning and my heart absolutely sank. Text messages and phone calls on his personal phone to a number I do not have. A lot of phone calls going back months and all lining up with weekends we were not together. Long phone calls of an hour plus each time. His entire drive both to and from our old house are 67 minutes, 24 minutes, 18 minutes, and so on, starting at 6:15. They were calling each other back each time the call dropped and spoke the entire time. I reverse looked up the number. It is Laura. He hung up with me and called her. I have no words for how hurt and foolish I feel. He is my entire world, and without him, I would feel completely alone. But I do not know if that is better or worse than the loneliness I have been feeling these past few months. I hate that I have become jealous and distrusting. I never would have thought twice about any of this before, but now I overthink every small detail. The gaslighting and the broken promises are tearing me apart. Each time I have confronted him, I have been met with accusations that I am crazy and looking for things that are not there. I could have let the timing of the drive go, but These phone calls for hours and hours have added a layer of suspicion that I cannot overlook. Even if nothing physical happened between them, the emotional cheating somehow cuts deeper. I have a screenshot of the ping. I have the phone bill. What I do not have is the content of the text on his personal phone. I want to check that before I confront him, but I just do not know if I can hold it together. I have no evidence of anything physical, and if they did meet last night, it would have been brief, but it is plausible. It is also plausible that they did not meet in person, only talked. It is even more plausible that something happened on the work trip or after the going away party. I do not know what to do. Should I confront him when he gets home tonight with what I have? Ask to see his phone? Take his phone? Just pack up and go? Am I actually looking for things that are not there? Any advice is appreciated. Too long did not read. Husband has been texting and calling a coworker of his for months, who confessed her love for him at a bar on a night out after I had left. Despite multiple pleas for me to cut all contact, it somehow has gotten even more intense. He reassures me each time, convinces me nothing is going on, that I am looking for things that are not there, and plays dumb. His location has been dropping off at odd times, and once reappeared in front of her apartment. I checked our phone bill and found that they have been calling and texting back and forth, having hours-long phone calls for months when I am not around. I do not know what to do. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Do I confront him now or wait until I see his phone? Do I just vanish like a thief in the night? My wife, Annie, asked for some time to talk. We have 2 little girls, 3 and 5 years old, and she arranged a sleepover for them with her sister. This seemed unusual to me since she is strongly against sleepovers and has never agreed to one before. She sat me down and admitted to having an emotional affair with a coworker for about half a year, which has now become physical. She was not crying when she told me, but that is not abnormal for her. She is a very sensitive person, but has difficulty showing emotions. She works as a corporate auditor for a large company and is very skilled at networking, so I never thought anything of the numerous texts and calls she would receive, even during her off hours. To say I was stunned would be an understatement. I felt sick and disgusted by her continuing to lie to me and the fact that she was so good at hiding it. I asked her how it started. He was a new hire at the job, and they were similar in age and both married, so she felt safe hanging out with him. Annie is not one to discuss her personal life with anyone who is not a close friend or family, so she said most of their conversations in the beginning were about the job or shared interests. She said she and Mark, the other man, became really good friends over their shared love of sports, specifically tennis. I knew she would go every Saturday to the local tennis club to play, but she never told me it was with Mark. She would always say it was just some people from work, and I would not question it. She would not talk about work a lot with me, but I knew the people she was close with, and Mark's name never came up, even when he first started. I had met him at her office Christmas party, but he had said hello to us and kind of stayed away, and I assumed they were not close. I asked her to tell me everything, every lie she had ever said regarding Mark, and it is a long list. A couple of months ago, her company arranged a team getaway from other branches, and she told me they were not allowed to bring partners. That was a lie. I asked her if it was because she wanted to spend time with Mark, and she just shrugged her shoulders and said she did not know. Her and her work friends go to the pub every Friday after work, and I asked about joining them sometimes, and she said it would be awkward since no other significant others come. That was also a lie. She and Mark went on pseudo-double dates with her work friends, and she always told them I was too busy if they ever invited me. A lot of her lies involved keeping me from seeing her and Mark interact. She said she did not even know why she was doing it in the beginning, but just wanted to keep us separated. At this point, I felt my heart break. It was a physical pain in my chest. This person who I thought was the most beautiful and kind person in the world, who I thought was special enough to be the mother of my children, had betrayed me. I did not want to be close to her. I did not want to see her, but I knew I needed to get the whole story. I asked her how it became physical, and she said last Friday after the pub, she had gotten a little tipsy and went to the smoking area with Mark. She had quit smoking, but obviously being around him made her start again. She said they were talking about Mark's marriage and how he had said he was not happy, and she said she hugged him. And he obviously got the wrong idea and kissed her. I asked her if she kissed him back, and she said she did not push him away the way she should have, whatever that means. She said she left after that and immediately came home. I do remember how quiet she was last Friday. I assumed it was end-of-week stress and let her have some time to herself and put the girls to bed myself. She said she was telling me now because she realized she had started an emotional affair with Mark and knew the only way not to lose me was to come clean. She said she knew what she had done was wrong and that in the beginning she just liked that an attractive man was giving her attention and used it as a confidence booster. I could not listen to her about this. I know, especially after our second daughter was born, my job kept me busier than usual. Our plan was to work hard now so we could retire early, and she had supported me doing this. I was not a perfect husband or father, but I tried hard to give them a good life. The night ended with me sleeping on the sofa, crying myself to sleep. I wanted to ask Annie if she loved Mark but was terrified of her answer. What if she said yes and that she wanted to leave me? How could I not see my girls every day? How could I tolerate the love of my life being with someone else? I kept thinking of everything I could have done to prevent this. Annie and I have always been very independent people, but maybe she needed more from me. Maybe she was asking for attention in her own way, and I never listened. Still, it does not excuse the sneaking around and lying. After a night of barely sleeping, I needed more answers from her. Telling me was not enough. I did not have clear steps from her on how she was going to fix our relationship, even if she wanted to fix it. We went out for breakfast, and I asked her the question I was dreading all night, if she loved Mark. She immediately said no, and that she had just got caught up in receiving attention from the wrong place. She said she could not imagine losing our family and that she did not expect me to forgive her, but that she needed to tell me about the kiss. I told her I did not know if I could trust her anymore, after all the lying and how she had taken my perfect image of her as a wife and mother and thrown it away. She started crying and saying that she would do anything to fix it, and if I asked her to quit her job, she would. She showed me her phone and that she had deleted and blocked his number, and would now only communicate through a monitored company communication app. I asked her for some space and have moved into the guest room while we figure out what to do next. She keeps talking about couple therapy and how she would absolutely hate herself if her actions caused our daughters to lose their parents. She grew up in a broken home with a barely there father and does not want the same for our children. I told her I would never abandon my kids even if we split up and did not appreciate the insinuation that I would not. Thank you everyone for the advice and messages. Some of you are actual heroes for helping me think clearly. Also about the Mark and Matt confusion, blame autocorrect. They are fake names anyway. I always thought if I ever got cheated on, I would be the type to demand explanations and timelines immediately, but I was surprised by how much I did not want to know. We stayed in limbo longer than we should have, basically where we were both kind of waiting to get a chance to talk about it more. My wife worked from home the whole week and then decided to take her annual leave she had saved up. I did not ask her to do this, but she said she felt uncomfortable going to work and knew it would affect me more if she did. I made sure to spend time with a couple of friends and my brothers. While I did not confide in all of them about what was going on, it felt good to spend some time not obsessing over what my wife had done. A couple of days after my post, we finally put the girls to bed, and I felt ready to talk to her about it. We sat at the dining room table, and I asked her to hand over her phone so I could read the messages. They mostly communicated on WhatsApp, and it was not hard for me to retrieve the chat since she backed up her messages consistently. I needed to know. I could not stay with her if I did not. There was a lot to scroll through, but I read through them all. It was difficult, and it was painful to see her texting another man about her feelings and thoughts that she should have been sharing with me. There were very suggestive things he said that she let him get away with or entertained. Apparently, she and Mark had gone dancing with some coworkers, and there were long texts from him about how beautiful she was. She never shut him down. When I was done, I asked her again if she had slept with him, and she promised on our children's lives that she had not done anything more than kiss. I asked if she had been tempted, and she said she had but knew she would not be able to hide it, and that she loved me and knew she would lose our family if she slept with him. She told me she had gone to therapy, her first time, and said that I should do the same. Annie has a few more days left of her annual leave and has decided to hand in her notice when she goes back. I cannot say I am pleased about that since she is losing something important to her, but a huge part of me is relieved. The only way we are ever going to get past this is by complete separation. I am still sleeping in the guest bedroom, still struggling with being physical with her. It feels too soon right now, but if she reaches for me or kisses my cheek, I do not deny it anymore. Right now I feel bottled up. I am quick to snap at the people around me. I have noticed my drinking has increased as well. My brother said it would hurt less with time and that we needed to actively work on building a new relationship. The thing is, there is so much separation between my wife and me that bridging that gap feels impossible. I can see that she is still trying. I honestly do not know what to do. I, a female of 44 years, hired an investigator and have discovered my husband's, a male of 47 years, affair and sex addiction. What on earth do I do next? My husband, a male of 47 years, and I, a female of 44 years, have been married for just over a decade, and it has been, for the most part, a loving marriage centered around our two beautiful children. Of course, I have had grievances. He travels a lot for work, is constantly glued to his phone, and sometimes would abruptly pop out for errands that he has always been incredibly vague about. Initially, these did not concern me too much. He has a very demanding job that has allowed us to have a lifestyle I never thought possible. Meant that I could leave work to be with the children, take us on wonderful holidays, and send the children to a great school. And I always felt that complaining to him about his work, phone, computer, and random emergencies would be so selfish considering everything he does for us. However, 2 weeks ago, I started getting really suspicious after I had found a condom in the inside pocket of his blazer. There was no reason for him to have it there, as we only ever have sex at home, and frankly, it is not something we do as often as we used to. This prompted me to do something I never thought I would do, but I found an opportunity to get into his phone when he was not looking. I am not sure what I was looking for. I first looked at his photos but could not find anything. Then I thought I would check his messaging apps, WhatsApp and Telegram. Both were password locked, which I found very odd. Only iMessage could be accessed, but there was barely anything there. At this point, I had a sinking feeling something was up. Last year, a friend was in a similar situation and used a digital investigator to learn more about her absent and secretive fiancé. The investigator found out that this man had been living a complete double life with a long-term girlfriend in Edinburgh and, unbelievably, a whole business he had set up and was earning money from. She had no idea about the business or all the money he was earning from it, and no doubt spending on his girlfriend. I asked for the investigators' details and requested that they pull together anything and everything they could find about my husband. The investigator spent about a week digging online and came back to me with a report that changed my life forever. I got a call from the investigator warning me that my husband's report would be a very difficult read and that I should open it in private at a time when I would be able to process it fully. Since I received it, I have barely been able to eat, sleep, properly take care of the kids, or speak to him, and yet he is so absent-minded he does not even realize something is wrong. It turns out that my husband of over 10 years has been having an affair with a woman 15 years his junior, financing this woman's lifestyle and her failed business venture, attending sex parties with her where they have sex with other partners, posting in a revolting online sex forum, including pictures of his genitals and detailing his addiction to porn and escorts to his creepy online friends. Based on these posts online, has clearly been spending thousands on escorts as far back as 7 years ago. I have no idea where to go from here. I do not know what to do. I have no idea how to confront him about this, or if I should see a lawyer first. I know the obvious decision is to simply divorce, but our children are 9 and 7. I have loved him since we first met 14 years ago, and I know that I have a place in his heart too, in spite of these actions. If he is truly an addict, then maybe there is a way to get through this if he agrees to treatment. I am a complete mess and I cannot talk about this to anyone in person just yet. Any advice you have for me would be really appreciated. Firstly, I would just like to thank almost every single one of you who has commented to leave me advice or message me privately. I took a lot of advice on board, especially legally speaking, and this has proven to be of great benefit. I apologize for my long absence and lack of replies. I hope the update below can explain it. I chose to wait until after New Year's as I did not want to rob the children of one last Christmas and New Year's holiday as a family. In the meantime, I researched solicitors and sought recommendations from trusted friends. Rather humiliatingly, I did, after much urging on this website, also schedule and go through with a sexually transmitted infection test. It was horrifically embarrassing, but I am relieved to say that it came negative. I do not know how I could have coped if he had gotten me sick because of his revolting actions. He made my job incredibly easy by flying out for a work trip, not that anything he says could ever be trusted on the second, and I immediately got the ball rolling. Met with the solicitor, packed up all of his belongings into 6 suitcases, had the locks changed, and spoke to a child psychologist to work out the best way to explain things to the kids, who are far too young to understand the full picture, of course. Fast forward to a week later, and upon his return, I, having made sure the children were picked up by my mother after school, greeted him to a hallway full of suitcases and divorce papers. I had printed out the report in full and started walking him through it before he started breaking down in tears. It was a compulsion. He was unbelievably stressed, and that if I left him, he would have no choice but to marry the other woman, whereas he would end it immediately if I were to take him back. This last part was truly the nail in the coffin. I do not think he even realized just how manipulative a comment that was to make. After hours of a back and forth and of his groveling, he gave up. He was left at the bottom of the stairs in the entrance to our home with his suitcases, waiting for a cab to take him to God knows where. There is still a lengthy legal process ahead, and unfortunately it turns out that him being unfaithful and so on does not really impact how assets might be divided following the legal battle. However, I am confident that my solicitor will get the outcome I need to keep the house and live independently. In terms of the children, I would rather not discuss them so as to keep it private, but it has been an incredibly difficult adjustment, and sometimes I do feel guilty. As for myself, I am still completely heartbroken, and frankly, I do not ever hope to find love again. I just do not think I can quite trust like that again. Finally, I would just like to add that while most comments have been lovely and supportive, I did get a number of comments and private messages blaming me for my soon-to-be ex-husband's behavior, claiming I did not give him sufficient sexual attention, and that I should not complain because he provided me with a certain lifestyle. Firstly, these comments are awful and betray a repulsive worldview with regards to sex, intimacy, and marriage. Secondly, our ailing sex life was not my doing and was at times a criticism I myself had of our relationship, not the other way around. Thirdly, just because someone provides you with a lifestyle does not entitle them to treat you as if you are nothing, with no respect and no honesty. I would have hoped all would be aware of that.